Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me to watch this video. Today we will make the box for the folio that we created. To make that box we will need 12 by 12 cardstock. So the cardstock we will pre-cut. We will leave one side as it is, 12 inches. The other side we will cut down to 9.5, and we will need 2 of them. So now we will score both pieces. So on the top I have 9.5 inches, and we will score at 6.5. We will turn around and we will score at 3/4. So we have 2 scores. Now we will turn this the long way and we will score at 8 3/4 and at 11. So you have 2 scores going this way and 2 scores going that way. The second sheet we will score at 1 inch, 3.25. We will turn the opposite way and we will score at 3/4, 3, and both of them have square right here. So now we will fold all of our scores on both pieces. Now for this video I just pre-marked where the scores are so you can see it, how this is laid out. So basically this will become our top. If you turn this piece upside down, this will become the other side, and here will be the bottom. So now we're gonna make some cuts. So we're gonna take the sheet where the top is right here, and we will start pre-cutting to create the shape of our box. So from this corner right here we're gonna cut a little angle. We're gonna turn it around and we will cut all the way to the bottom, just like that. Now the second score in here we will cut straight down, and this flap we will cut approximately down to 1.5 inch. So now we need to create little V shape on this flap. Don't go all the way to the corner. Leave a little bit space, like maybe 1/8 of an inch, and trim just a slight piece out. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Don't go to a corner. Leave it approximately 1/8 of an inch. And we will gonna create just a little wedge. So I don't know if you can see it, but in here we have little piece that is just straight down, 1/8 of an inch, and then we are creating that little wedge. So for the top, we're gonna do the same thing. We're not gonna cut from the score. We're gonna leave approximately 1/8 of an inch space, and we're gonna cut a little wedge. And the same thing on this side, just a little wedge. So on the bottom in here, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna cut it from the score. A little wedge. So our one side is done. Now we're gonna take the second sheet of paper and position the opposite way. You see, you positioning the paper opposite way with the flaps, but the scores are on the same side, the small scores, because when we glue this together like this, we fold over and this will become our box. So now we need to work on the bottom of this page. So again, we're gonna cut from this score right here, little angle, and this we're gonna cut out all the way down. On this side, we also gonna cut from the score all the way down to the bottom. And here we will cut out only from the score, just like that. So we ended up with little square in here, and we will leave it just the way it is. This flap in here, we will cut it little wedge from the score down, because this will become our bottom of our box. So now if we position those two pieces the way we would be gluing them, just like that, you see this is the top, this is the bottom. So now let's glue the flap. Okay, we're gonna position this next to our page, and we will fold it over and make sure that glue adheres. Okay. So here is our one flap. Now, if you look at this form, you can see that we are missing flap on this side because it needs to be on the opposite side. So when you fold it over, you have only one. We need to create another one, and we need to create the same thing on this side. So I do have some paper left, and that should be long enough So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pre-cut this paper. We're gonna pre-cut lengthwise to 2¼ I'm trying to position this straight. 2¼ because this is 2¼ inches side. This is the side of our box. So the lengthwise, we will pre-cut this to 2¾ and we will create 2 of them. Now we will create a score. So you have length 2¾ we're gonna score it at 2¼ both pieces. We're gonna fold this over. So now one of these will become the part of the bottom, just like this, and we will glue it. So I'm gonna butt them together. I'm paying attention to the score on the side. You don't want to glue this over the score. Let's just squish it. Now we have 2 flaps for the bottom. So now we need to create one for the top to match this one. So on this one the length was 1½. Let's confirm this. Yes, 1½. So our piece should measure really 2 inches. And I will cut this down to 2 inches. Also, this piece has a little wedge right here. We will do the same thing to this piece. So you see, from the score, we will leave, here is the score, we will leave about 1/8 of an inch space, and then we will create slight wedge. And we will do the same thing on the opposite side. The 1/8 of an inch will actually help us to hold the flap down. So now we will glue this. So let me just apply the glue. And we will glue. Also make sure you are in between the scores and the top is nice and even. We will squish this and we have our flap. So you can see that now it looks a little bit more like a box. So now don't lose track of your top. So now what we're gonna do, we will apply glue to this flap, fold it over, and we're gonna glue those 2 pieces together right here. So you see, here is the flap. Let's apply the glue. I'm gonna fold this piece over and we're gonna glue it. Just make sure that your paper is straight, so your box will come nice and square. And here we have our box. Now, before we actually put this together, we will decorate this box. So to cover the box, I'm choosing paper from the same collection as I used to create the folio. I'm choosing this color to go along with our theme. And we will cut. We need 2 pieces at 6 1/4, 6 1/4 by 8 1/2. Now from the leftover pieces, we will need 2 strips, 2 inches wide, by 8 1/2. We will need 2 strips, 2 inches wide by 6 1/4, and this is the leftover piece. Those are the 2 leftover pieces that I had. So we will just cut down to 2 inches, and this is already 6 1/4. The leftover pieces that we have, we will keep them because we will use them. And now we're gonna need to cut we will need to cut 2 pieces of cardstock. Actually, we're gonna cut 1 piece of cardstock to 7 1/2, and we're gonna cut down to 8 1/2. Now, so we got piece 8 1/2 by 7 1/2. This piece we will cut down in half. So we're gonna cut down to 3 3/4. We will score those 2 pieces at 1/2 inch. We will fold the score. And I will round the corners. Now we will start decorating the box. So this is the front of the box, right? We marked our top. So we're gonna apply those two pieces right by the score. So before I do that, let me just try them out. And that will be perfect. So we will, actually I'm gonna cut little wedge right here on both sides to the score. I don't want this to show up after we glue it. So now we will apply the glue and we will glue it right by this score right here. So let's make sure that this glue is stuck. Just like that. And we will do the same thing with this side. And we will position that right here on this side evenly. And you want to make sure that both sides are even. So as you can see, we created little window in here. So the box will have little opening. Okay. So now the pieces that we cut to cover the box, one piece will go right inside, just like that, inside that window. And it should be approximately 1/8 of an inch space all around it. So let's try to make this nice and even. Now you see my markings in here, but I did this on purpose just for this video so you can see how we are positioning everything. Now you won't make these marks. You can mark which one is the top because we will cover this portion. Okay. So here is our first portion we decorated. Then we're gonna do the same thing to the side. Approximately 1/8 of an inch space all around. We will squish the glue to make sure it adheres. We will turn it over and we will do the same thing to opposite side right here. Now the side of the box, we will position the top right here. And we have one more piece left, which is gonna go on the opposite side of this flap. So I'm gonna glue this off camera. I will be right back to show you how this looks. Okay, so I applied paper to all of the sides. As you can see, here is the top, both sides, in here also, and the bottom. Now we will need, I do want to cover this part. I want to cover it for two reasons. The first one is this becomes a little bit more sturdy already because we are applying layers of paper. So we don't want the top to be soft. So this is the reason why I want to apply additional paper in here to cover this, to give it a little bit more sturdiness and a little bit more of bulk. And this is also, the dimension is 2.5 by 6.5. We can reconfirm. 6.5 by 2.5, actually 2.25. So we will cut another paper and I'm choosing leftover paper I have from our folio. So we need 2 inches by 6.25. We will need another piece that is approximately 1/2 inch. It could be just a smidge longer, because we will cover this flap, and this flap is 3/4 of an inch, I believe. Let's double check. This is actually 1 inch. So we will cut paper to 3/4, maybe a smidge more. And we will use this for the flap. The length is gonna be 6.25. So now I will open up this flap so it's easier for me to work. And this paper will go right here. Just like that. And now this one will go in here, but you can see that we have angled this little bit and this side also. So I will just create small angle on both sides, and as you can see it, I'm doing this by eye because we can always pre-cut further if that's what we need, but I'm pretty happy with this. So when you're trimming this, just do it little by little, try it. If you're happy with the results, then glue it just the way it is. Just like that. And here is our flap. So now when you open up this box, it's going to be nice and pretty on the inside. And I see that when you're opening the box, you can also see this flap. So I will do the same thing for this flap. But this time, I'm going to pre-cut the leftover piece that I have. And this is not going to work. So we need only 1 inch. Actually a little bit less than 1 inch, because the flap is 1 inch. So I'm cutting off about 7/8 of an inch piece. And we will try it. I'm pretty happy with this. So I will make a little angle on both sides. and I will try it. And I like the way this looks, so we will apply the glue. So now when you close the flap or you open the flap, you can see it, how pretty it is. Okay, so now we need to decorate our front, and I'm doing all of this while this is still flat, because this side you have two options. You can glue the entire bottom just like that, and it's gonna be glued, and this is what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to glue entire bottom so you cannot open up. This is the reason why I did not decorate the flap. Now, if you choose not to glue the bottom, then you should really pre-score the sides of your little flaps in here. It's gonna be easier to close it and open it, but leave straight about 1/8 of an inch. This really helps to hold this piece together. When you close it or you're trying to open it, you're gonna feel that little snug, tight fit. So now to decorate this window, we need to decorate the front panel. Now, I think you guys know me by now. I like to match everything. So I still have this paper left, which I'm planning to use over here on the outside. So we need to pre-cut this. The window is 3 1/4 inches wide by 8 1/2. So we will cut this piece to 8 1/2, 8 1/4. And we said that the window opening is 3 1/4. So we're gonna cut down to 3 inches, and we need 2 pieces. Oops. I think I need to trim it. I didn't cut that nicely on this side. And 3 inches. Okay. So I am gonna put those 2 panels just like that, but I need to round these corners to make them match. Just like that, and those 2. And we will glue them. I didn't decide yet how I want to close this, but we will create something. Now, if you like this video, if you like this project, please comment, share, like, subscribe. All of this really helps my channel grow, and I would really appreciate if you could do that. this is the piece that didn't cut straight. Okay. I think I got a little piece in here too. Alright. And we do the same thing with this. Just like that, and we have our little window. Now, the reason why I wanted to create the window, we could decorate this also. I don't know if we will or we will not, depending on the closure I choose for this. But I do want to make something special for the inside. For the inside, I do want to make little pocket. It's really simple pocket, but let me choose the paper for the pocket. Okay, I have this paper left from the folio, so I will use that to create a pocket. Now, I don't want to create pocket too deep, but I also don't want to create something that is not deep enough. So I think this distance would work for me, maybe 3.5 inches. So we will cut this paper, and I need to trim it a little bit because I don't like this edge. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this down to 3.5 inches. And we need to cut the width. So let's see. The width of the paper on the inside is about 6.25. So I want to make sure that I cover all of the width. So 6.25. I want to position this kind of straight. So what I'm going to do is, this paper is 12 inches wide, so 6 inches is right here, and I need 6.25. So I'm gonna go this way, and I think I will make a little mark. So I need 6, 1, 2, 3, and 1/8, and 1, 2, 3, and 1/8. So this is approximately, so let me trim this off. And now we said that we need 6.25. Okay. And we cut it 3.5. So now this will be my pocket. But I do want to make something little special, and there is a reason why I'm creating this pocket. The folio that I created, as I mentioned in a previous video when I was making the folio, there is someone who's having birthday and retires in month of March. So I thought how awesome it would be if we can present, for example, if you're making this whole entire project as a gift for somebody, how awesome it would be to put the folio inside the box that has little opening and little space maybe for a card. But also, how about if we create little space for a gift card? So I'm gonna measure approximately 1.5 inches right here, and I'm trying to position this in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it's not quite 6. Okay, just like that, 1.5 inches. So this is my middle. You can cut little slit, and I am not measuring, I'm trying to make it big enough so you can slide the gift card right here. I'm gonna turn this around, and again I am gonna mark with something because I do want to know where this starts. Right here. And I am gonna make just slide opening from those dots that I marked, just like that, and I will just cut this here, cut this here. We have a little opening for a gift card. So now we will glue, we will apply glue, only a little bit glue on the edge, actually on 3 sides. And I'm trying to be careful because there's just too much glue coming out in here. Okay. So when I position this, I want to make sure that I cover that green background. We will squish it. And now you can see you have space for the gift card. Just like that. Or maybe you want to use one of your cut aparts and put it little message, little note, put it just like that with a card. You know, birthday card, any kind of card, right in the packet. And how nice would that look? Then when we close it, I think I'm gonna use 2 little brats to put it in here to keep this closed. So now for the brats, I am gonna use my cutting die, and I will cut out 2 circles just to give extra body, just like that, just to hold this better. So let's position them somewhere in the middle. Just like that. Now I will use my little tool to make the hole for the brats, And when you do this, don't poke yourself. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm trying to make the hole somewhere in the middle. Just like that. So we're going to put the bread right here. I'm going to punch another 2 circles to put it in here. I can probably poke it from this side to make sure it's on the middle. So we put bread through here and through here. Let's open this up. Just like that. And we do the same thing on this side. Let's put this through. Open this up. And now in here, there are a few different things we can do. We can just cut something to cover this, or we can cover entire page. I think I'm gonna cover entire page. So I am gonna cut additional paper. And actually I'm gonna leave this, so I'm gonna match the paper. This paper also is from the same collection as for our folio. So we will measure again 3 1/4. So we're gonna cut this down to 3 inches. So we need 3 inches. And we're gonna cut 2 pieces. One for each side. And the height, I believe it was 8 1/4, 8 1/2. So we will cut the height to 8 1/4. Both pieces. We need to match the corners. When you're cutting corners, make sure you're cutting the right side, especially if you have directional paper. So now we can apply the glue. Now be careful over here. So let's squish it all the way around, but you don't want to damage the paper. So I am just gonna hold it for a moment because this is where the opening is. Just to make sure that the glue grabs it. Okay. All right. And we do the same thing on this side. So now it would be very easy to make this box if we are making a smaller box, that we can actually make it from one piece of paper or even two. But this one, because of the height, that just was not possible. But if you can make this box, then it really doesn't matter. You can make any box. Because the process will be the same. Okay. Okay, so I do have little twine or string that I will wrap it around in here. I will actually tie it down just because I want to see this piece hanging a little bit. So now we can wrap it around this one. We can cut it. And here is our closure. So I think that's pretty simple. I think it looks nice, little rustic look to it. I like it. So now the only other thing we have to do is actually finish this bottom. And to finish this bottom, I am planning to glue this shut. Just like that. Now, it might be a little bit difficult for me to put this on the inside, but I don't want to lose those flaps. So I am going to cut little angle all the way to the end, just like that. So now it's going to be easier for me to actually close this flap on the inside, just like that. So to work on this, we're going to apply glue right here onto those flaps because we want to glue them like this, and we will apply the glue onto this flap in here. So I'm going to close this just like that. And I will go from the inside and I will squish the bottom of it just to make sure that the glue grabs it. Okay, so I got the flap. Now I'm gonna go from the top to make sure that the flaps are all glued. So you see, we close this shut. It's not gonna open. And when we close this box, here you go. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I think the project came out really nice. I think the idea with actually opening up the front and having maybe birthday card, any type of card, birthday, happy anniversary, whatever you want. I think this is just great idea with little message if that's what you like, gift card, whatever you like. So I hope you enjoyed this. So now if I open this, this is the folio we created. It fits beautifully on the inside. And you know, because we kept in here straight about 1/8 of an inch, when you close this and when you open it, you see, you can almost feel it, that it's still stuck in there. This is the reason why we have done that. So here is the finished project. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope to see you really soon in my next video.